What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving you a nice quick little review of Tales of Phantasia for the Super Nintendo. Now, before any of you guys ask, yes, this is a reproduction cart. Reproduction cart, for any of you guys who don't know, is a game that pretty much was a ROM that they put onto a cart, so it's playable on original hardware. I'm not usually a big fan of those, but if any of you guys know, the original version of Tales of Phantasia, which was released in 1995, was never released here in the United States. So what this reproduction cart is, luckily enough, is a fan translation, so I could play the game in English on my Super Nintendo like I would want to play without having to play any of the remakes. Now, Tales of Phantasia is the first game in the Tales of series, which, if any of you know, is my favorite JRPG series. The story was beautiful, the artwork was nice, the graphical style is a lot very similar to your normal Super Nintendo JRPG style. It played nice. It looked a lot like Secret of Mana to me, but naturally all JRPGs, I'm not going to say all, that's broad spectruming or whatever, they all kind of look very similar on the Super Nintendo. Now, one thing I liked about this game is that a lot of the lore is stuff that, without playing this game, you would never know was mentioned this early in the series, that kind of gets brought out a lot in the rest of the Tales of series. Certain aspects of this game actually are very reminiscent of Tales of Symphonia, and I know I say reminiscent even though this was the first game, like saving the mana tree. Just certain things you have to do in this game, certain references they make are also brought up later on in the Tales of series. What's cool about this is you get the earliest version of seeing how they did their active combat system, which for the Tales of series has always been a very kind of action-oriented combat system where pretty much when you're in a battle, it's up to you physically to figure out how you want to play that battle out, whether it be from attacking, doing your spells, to backing up, to just kind of recuperating. This game does that in like a 2D side-scrolling manner, and it's really, really cool to just see, knowing, like playing the other games in the series, how it's all evolved from this game. And it's a beautiful thing. So pretty much the story of this game is you play as Kless, who, you know, you travel through time. And I know that kind of sounds a little bit like Chrono Trigger, but you travel through time to stop a guy named Daus. Or at least I hope that's how his name's pronounced, D-H-O-A-S, who's trying to basically drain all the mana in the world for himself to basically take over the world. And he wants to create this thing called a mana seed, which allows him to basically do that. And you and your party have to travel through time, which is cool because your party members aren't naturally all from the same time period you are. So as you go through the game, you meet other people, they join your party. And it's really cool to be able to travel through all these different time periods to just kind of see where you start, to how the world evolves, to kind of having to travel back in the past to see where things were and how things have changed within these different time periods, whether it be from the towns to the names of the towns, to just how everything in the world has changed. The enemies get stronger, and it's just a really cool thing. I don't know if I would like this Tales of Phantasia game offhand. I really didn't, only because I thought it would be really primitive compared to the other games of the series I've played. Naturally, I started off with Symphonia. However, I was really into this game. I beat it in about 26 and a half hours, I believe. And overall, I would definitely say if you could get a repro version of this game, or buy the original one. They did a re-release on the DS, I believe, and the PlayStation 1, which I believe were English translations. Definitely check this out. I know the PS1 version has a little bit of modifications to what the original game had. It has a cooking system. It has a 3D like world overlay, where this kind of uses I want to say it's like you go into the world and it's like a 2D overlay, and you just kind of go to the areas, kind of like how a lot of Super Nintendo JRPGs did it. But overall, this game, would I say picking it up? Well, I picked up my copy for about $12. I definitely would say pick this up if you're a JRPG fan, if you're looking for a good game for the Super Nintendo, or if you're just a fan of the Tales of series. Now, this is a repro card, so it's not really going to be worth a lot of money, but I know the official Japanese version doesn't go for that much as well. Overall, this game, you know, was definitely worth the play, I'm going to say. It had really nice music. The graphical style is what you would expect from a Super Nintendo game. The story was really, really good. There was certain parts where I wasn't really sure what to do, but you had to kind of talk around to give you hints of where to go, which was a little annoying, but it was a little intuitive. Just for the fact that you kind of had to play out as the character to figure out what you had to do, which honestly on Namco's part, that's really smart because it makes you need to explore the areas to kind of figure out where you need to go, kind of figure out the hints, and really just kind of figuring out what's going on within the game. The time travel was really cool. The combat was really cool. The only thing in here is in Tales of series, usually like your special moves are called arts. They're not called arts in this game, which I guess they didn't really think that far ahead as to what they called them at the time. But overall, it's a really, really fun JRPG. That's Tales of Phantasia for the Super Nintendo. I would definitely recommend to pick this one up if you're looking for a good Super Nintendo game to play, if you're a fan of JRPGs, and overall, if you just want a really fun game to play. If you guys have played this game, of course, leave your thoughts in the comments below. What you thought of the game. How do you think they could have improved it? Did you catch on to all the interesting Tales of lore that all started here that kind of was built upon in future games of certain things and how they were done? I thought, the moment I found out about the Mana Tree and stuff, I really was like, this does remind me of Tales of Symphonia. And certain gameplay aspects, or story aspects for that matter, do kind of play off like Symphonia. Definitely took little bits and pieces of that. And it was cool. I thought it was really fun. The only thing that the Tales of series always has that this game didn't have was those little dialogue box talking things where the characters would, talk to each other and just kind of either say something jokingly or something that builds to the story, which I think the PlayStation re-release does have that. Anyway, guys, that's my quick little review on Tales of Phantasia. Leave your thoughts below. As always, thank you for watching. Go to other videos, and have a great day.